Hello everyone, I'm Baggy, and today I'll be talking about comics and how to know when to start over. Knowing when to start your comic from scratch is a daunting process and no one ever wants to face it. If you're lucky, you won't. But if you made the same mistakes that I did, you may need to start over in order to finish and be proud of what you created. I'd first like to talk about my comic so you can get a better idea of where I'm coming from. This comic is a Five Nights at Freddy's fan comic about William Afton and Henry Emily, the two owners of the Freddy Fazbear's brand. This is my own alternate universe, so it won't be canon or correlate to the story. It's my own take on it. In this story, William and Henry meet at university, both studying mechanics. After an embarrassing meeting, they hope they'll be distant classmates and nothing more, until they find out that they share a dorm.
And they were roommates.
Oh my god, they were roommates.
Timid Henry is terrified of the threatening and arrogant William, but slowly begins to lower his guard to him, as does William. I started this comic in May 2021.
Right now I am working on my comic, Connection Terminated.
And posted every month consistently until the following November, so only 7 chapters were released. Last year I posted an 8th chapter, however my art style was in a weird place, so I don't really count it. Which brings me to reason number 1 for restarting your comic: inconsistent art style. You may look at other creators' comics and their art styles will change slightly as they improve. And I just want to tell you, making a comic will drastically improve your drawing skills since you will be drawing at least 2 pieces a day if you post once a month. And so it is completely normal for your art style to change. However, if your art style changes as drastically as mine did, you may want to consider redoing your previous pages to match your new style. Reason number 2, you didn't plan well. You have no idea where your story is going, and some previous pages literally just don't make sense. This one can be kind of moved around depending how much you've already done, but if your comic has major plot holes because of previous episodes and pages, you'll really need to consider redoing these pages. Reason number 3, your character designs could be better. This is another reason you could kinda work around, but it really depends on you. Your character could dye their hair, get a haircut, get new clothes, or whatever to enhance their character design. But if you want their character design to stay consistent and without the confusion, it may be good to redo those pages where the designs are a little weak. Reason number 4, you didn't make sure you had enough bleed to print your comic on paper. There is a certain margin of bleed your pages need to turn them into paper editions, and if your speech bubbles are right to the end of your panel, this is going to become a real problem. Instead of redoing your pages, you could try and edit the existing ones so they all fit. It's up to you. Make sure you know the measurements of the printing company or size of paper you wish to use, and if you don't know which one yet, just make sure there's a nice gap between the panels and the edges of the paper. If you prefer to do big pieces, maybe make a less detailed outside, or be okay with sacrificing a tiny bit of your background. It'll only be a few pixels if anything, but when it's text, it's really difficult, so just keep that in mind. Reason number 5. It's literally been years since you last did an episode. This was the issue that I had. It'd been so long since I released an episode, my art style went crazy. It was also during an experimental phase of mine where I was trying to make my art style more simplistic, but it was really jarring in comparison to the previous episodes. And if I started up the comic again with my art style now, it still looked jarring because of the improvement over the years. Most of it is thanks to making the comic. I could power on through and just laugh it off, but I wouldn't be comfortable doing that, which leads me to my final reason. Reason number 6. You wouldn't continue the comic if you didn't. If the older pages are really getting you down, so down that you just don't want to finish, do them again. As simple as that. If extra work is what it costs to continue doing the thing you love, then whatever. It'll be fun to redraw those pieces, and it'll be so much easier than when you drew them the first time. I hope this was helpful, and I hope you enjoyed watching me redraw my own first 2 panels of Connection Terminated. If you'd like to read this comic, the original version is still available on Webtoon, link at the top of the screen and in the description. If you'd like to see behind the scenes and panels way before their release date, then please check out my Patreon where you can gain access to these by joining the Connection Terminated tier. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate all your support and lovely comments. Please let me know what your comics are about and what struggles you faced making them. How did you get through it? And what tips would you give to new comic creators? I'll see you in the next video. Bye!